Hello, my name is Denise and welcome to my interpersonal communication project, Human Services 508 at Liberty University. Next slide. Stewart defines interpersonal communication as the type or kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Stewart states, in the most general sense, the term communication and communicating labeled a continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. We have been communicating since birth, and it is a major part of our human existence, according to Burley Allen. On the Discovery Health Communication Skills Assessment, I scored a 75 out of 100. According to the communication skills test, my communication skills are very good. I managed to get my point across in a clear, concise way, and I'm able to listen to others and understand where they are coming from. However, until I reach a score of 100, there remains room for improvement. Next slide. Enlarging a conversation. Definition. Enlarging a conversation could mean a multiplicity of different things to different people, but the very central part of this definition is the idea that one must break free of the barriers we create in our lives that hinder us from communicating effectively with others. Enlarging a conversation involves identifying communication deficits, assessing strengths and weaknesses, locating resources to improve weaknesses, which will help improve our communications with others. Next slide. Overarching goal. My overarching goal is to improve my listening skills so that I can listen with understanding and remain objective when engaging in conversation with others. To make every effort to listen at level 1 and to avoid rescuing or rushing to solve the talker's problems. Burley Allen states level 1 listening can promote better quality information. When you are listening effectively, you have a better chance of being in charge of a situation and influencing the outcome. By doing this, you know what is being understood. By doing this, you know what is being misunderstood and when it is necessary to stop for clarification. According to Burley Allen, initiating verbal feedback guarantees that you and the talker are using words that mean the same thing. He also states using verbal feedback by asking what, when, where, how, who, and why can reduce misunderstanding and faulty communication or befuddling. Next slide. Behavior blend. In the DISC personality assessment, behavior blend describes a combination of personality types. There are 4 types of behavior or temperaments, D, I, S, and C, that are blended to create a unique personality for every individual. Each individual has one of these as a dominant personality type and the other combined to form a blend of behaviors. Carbonell suggests each type is independent of the other, but they are also related in specific ways. They can help us better understand our thoughts, feelings, and actions according to uniquely you. My behavior blend. Who am I? My DISC or DISC personality type and blend according to the Uniquely You Professional Profile Report. This is expected of me is an S. According to Carbonell, the S type suggests that I think people expect me to be the nicest and kindest individual possible. I feel that others want me to be sensitive, loving, and sacrificing. This is me, CIS. According to Carbonell, the CIS personality type suggests I prefer peace and harmony as well as organized environments. Having knowledge of my personality traits will help me have a better understanding of my thoughts, feelings, and how I respond to others. It will also help me to communicate more effectively and enlarge my conversation. Next slide. Barriers to interpersonal communication. According to Burley Allen, a listening barrier exists when someone hears what he wants to hear, not what is really communicated. He also states barriers to listening happen because of one or several filters. For example, past experience filters can make a listener become anxious to hear something that fulfills his or her wishes or desires. Next slide. Some of the communication barriers that I have are listening ineffectively at levels 2 or 3, rescuing or rushing to solve the listener's problems, having the flat brain syndrome, giving advice instead of listening, interrupting when others are talking. Next slide. My plan for improvement. Burley Allen suggests in order to make listening work for you, do the following. Avoid being critical and judgmental. Listen to the underlying meaning of what was said. Empathetically and non-judgmentally to improve your ability to listen at level 1. This style of listening helps build understanding, trust, and rapport, allowing the other person to feel that he or she can talk without being criticized or judged. The timing for questions is very important. It is usually best to hold your questions until you have listened empathetically and at level 1. Refrain from solving the talker's problems or doing the person's thinking for him or her. Next slide. Plan for improvement continued. Peterson 2007 suggests 4 goals to counter the flat brain syndrome. 1. Reduce emotional disturbance. 2. Clarify thinking. 3. Increase self-confidence. 4. Build supportive friendships. Next slide. Hatchberg suggests eliminating communication barriers by identification of listening habits, asking questions, avoiding formulation or responses, removal of distractions. Next slide. Noise pollution. Noise pollution is basically any distractions that can deter you from listening effectively. There are 2 types of distractions, internal and external. Next slide. Internal distractions is defined by Burley Allen as things people do internally to build barriers that prevent them from listening effectively. Internal distractions include filters, daydreaming, mental tangents, rebuttals. Next slide. Some solutions for internal noises are to remove the filters, relax, and focus. Also concentrate on the talker. According to Burley Allen, external factors can also interfere with effective listening. Next slide. External distractions include loud noises, interruptions, time constraints, deadlines, work stressors, talkers' gestures, talkers' appearances. And some solutions for external noises include attempt to remove the distractions, avoid interruptions, ask clarifying questions. Next slide. My plan of action. It is my objective to listen at level 1, which includes being an empathetic listener. I will utilize all of the skills I have learned in Human Services 508, which has helped me to have a better understanding of my thoughts, feelings, and how I must respond to others in order to communicate more effectively. This concludes my Human Services Interpersonal Communication projects, and the reference page is listed. This has been an incredible journey for me, and I have learned a great deal from this class. God bless.